सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। So we will be discussing a few things. Already enough of summary has been given last time. Then it struck me that we keep on talking about karma, karma yoga, karma, and assuming that we know what karma means or what has been intended in the Bhagavad Gita. But the karma is like the word karma, when it is used in the Bhagavad Gita, it's like a hyperlink. Hyperlink means if you click on it and a big screen opens. So normally we think, what is karma? Okay, whatever I do daily, my daily routine, for my own upkeep, my professional duties, my duties towards family, and a little bit towards the community, and some social life, and once in a while some religious life. So that is my karma. Well, it is true partly, but it is not enough. Okay, it is not enough. In the Bhagavad Gita, when karma word is used, it is used in a very extensive sense. And then not only its karma, as we proceed for the next slokas in the third chapter, we will see the concepts like Deva, Yajna, etc. So suddenly it may strike in our mind, what has Devas to do with our karma? And then Yajna means some religious karma. So Bhagavad Gita only talks about some Deva, some karma, some Yajna, etc. So we have to understand that part, what it means by the Devas, what it means by Yajna, and of course, what is karma. So all of it we have to understand together to understand karma. I will share with you my own real life experience. I think it was in the year 1996 or 97, I don't remember. So I was studying there at the Gurukulam at Coimbatore, in the ashram. And there was a pathway, cemented pathway. And we all used to cross that pathway to reach the library. Then suddenly we found that the manager in the ashram decided, and then they planted some what I will call as ornamental shrubs, like a hedge on the both the sides of the pathway. Okay, so the pathway was straight, and at the side of the pathway was like a series of ornamental shrubs. They were purple in color. I remember very well, and hardly maybe 4 inches height. So they were planted. So that was a new thing. So now we had to be careful. So what we were doing, whatever earlier path we used to take to cross that pathway, we took the same path, but we were careful that we don't trample upon the hedges at the sides of the pathway. So we kept on moving like that for a few months. And then I noticed, even after a month, and later on after 6 months, I noticed the portion of the hedge, both the sides of the hedge, okay, both hedges over which we were crossing, they were growing lesser compared to the remaining portion of the hedge or the ornamental saplings. I hope I could explain what I'm saying. Because we were crossing over, so those saplings didn't grow as much as the others, and we were very careful, all of us. So nobody trampled upon it. So it's not the case that we trampled accidentally upon it and that's why it didn't grow. No, we never trampled upon it. And on both the sides, we saw the same pattern because we were crossing the hedge, then the pathway, then again the remaining hedge. Okay, so we were doing that. And both the sides we saw the track we followed, the hedge was not growing as much as what the remaining portion, the remaining portion of the hedge grew. So just by the act of crossing over it, maybe it didn't like or what, because the same water, same sunlight and fertilizer, everything was same for the entire row of hedge. But this portion where we crossed over didn't grow well. So it shows that even the plant senses or doesn't like a few things or likes a few things. And this example is to show that the so-called lesser living beings or even non-living beings, they respond to how we behave or how we act towards them. This entire universe is, as per the vision of the Vedas, is live. There is nothing called dead because every particle is live and intelligent. It behaves intelligently, and that's why it comes together and forms structures. So every particle is intelligent. So the group of particles definitely is intelligent. Some of them behave in a living way, some of them behave in a so-called non-living way, but they are all intelligent. Not only that, the entire universe is run by systems, and all the systems, wherever there is a study, wherever we can study, like if we can study about the universe, about the movement of planets. So there is a study connected to the movement of planets. So whatever that science is, that is physics, of course, that is a study. So it follows certain law. Similarly, a human being has so many organs, tissues, and so many functions. each of them follow certain laws. And that is how there is a study, there are specialists, there are doctors, especially dealing with certain portions of the body or certain behavior of the body, etc. So wherever there is a study possible, wherever there are experts, that means there is a law governing that function. And those laws which govern the different functions of this universe, this elementals I will call of this universe, they are visualized as devas in the eyes of the Vedas. So they are like live beings. They are not inert laws. They are living laws. They respond. This is how the Vedas see them. And the Vedas attribute a personality to them. That is how we have something called the sun god, which is related to vision, sight, light, etc. Then we have what we call as the moon god. It is related to the mind, not only the mind, the tides, and because the tides in the ocean and the behavior of mind, they are interrelated. Okay, then they for example, they say the tongue is governed by the Agni Lord. What? Because it can produce light, it can produce fire through using the type of speech one uses. And it's the same Agni which is used in the homam, the yajna we perform, or in the kitchen. So there are certain similarly the wind is governed by the Vayu god. Okay, waters, different types of waters available in this universe is governed by Varuna. So they have given names, not only names, they have personified, the Vedas have personified the available laws which governs the universe. And the purpose is that we relate to them as living beings, as somebody who will respond. And I don't know whether you have seen one very famous documentary or a short movie. It is called Whale Done. WHALE. Whale. Not well. Whale Done. There it shows how by giving attention to the whales, killer whales, they tame the killer whales, and the killer whales start behaving like a pet fishes, and they get trained and they perform so many I will say so many functions along with the human beings in public eyes. So it is how much attention we pay to a living being or even a non-living being, accordingly it responds. So it shows that giving attention, paying attention to them really makes a lot of difference. And when it talks about, we will see this. Rajesh ji, can you please show those shlokas, the third chapter shlokas? Sahayagnya praja srishtva purovacha prajapati. This one. So Prajapati, Brahma, he created this this creation along with Yajna and Devas. Okay. Then now you please open that Taittiriya Upanishad, that portion of Taittiriya Upanishad.
Okay. Can you say it?
No.
Okay, 1 second.
Okay. So before we get into this, this is the 11th Anuvaka of the Siksha Valli, the first Valli of the Taittiriya Upanishad. And there are 4 mantras. And in brief, they talk about what Vedas mean by karma. Okay, karma, a person which a person should be doing, should be following. Here again, we will find Deva Pitrikarya Bhyamna Pramaditavya. So the vision of the Vedas is that we as individuals, not only we are connected with other human beings and our pets and animals around, we are also connected with the entire universe, the visible universe, as well as the invisible universe. And the invisible universe is in the form of various systems, various laws which governs this universe. And we are connected to them. We must be acknowledging their functions, showing our gratitude. Because of those functions, we are alive. And we are connected with them, alive. So psychologically, it is such a healthy living because we are connected with so many things, seen and unseen, and we feel the connections. A person who is less connected, who relies more on few connections, is going to be less emotionally stable. Why? For example, if I am a person who says, my life is me and my family, and family also means my spouse and my children and nothing more. So then I'm connected with lesser people and lesser things. And then suddenly something happens to my child or my wife and I am devastated. Or not only if it happens, something happens to them. Suppose they get disenchanted, they leave me due to whatever valid reasons or invalid reasons. If they leave me, I am again devastated. I'm just broken up. I'm gone, finished. These are the words I hear many a times when people share their problems. Why? Because so much, the entire person is invested in on a very few connections. And when that connection snaps, the person gets devastated. Whereas here the plan is, yes, you are connected with your immediate family. So here the plan is, it's like concentric circles. On the center of the circle, you are there. You are connected with your body. Then outer radius, you are connected with your spouse, children. Then bigger radius, you are connected with little your cousins, etc. Of course, your parents. Then little bigger circle, wise people, teachers, other members of the community. Even bigger circle, your own country, nation, then people of different regions but belonging to the same culture. Okay, in even bigger circle, you are connected with the entire globe, people in the globe. Then not, it doesn't stop there. Even bigger circle, you are connected with the planets of the solar system, even bigger circle of the galaxies, and all the visible and invisible laws of this universe, which governs this universe and which finally affects your life, whether you want it or not. So that's how I am connected with bigger circle. The connections become little less intense, but the connections do exist. So such a connected person, if some closer connection also snaps, is less likely to get devastated compared to a person who is not connected with any of those things, and who totally relies on only on a few connections. So that's how the breakdown happens much faster. And as I told you, maybe some 5 or 10 classes before, that prior to COVID, in the northern part of this country, India, I was finding 1 in 5 families have a child or an adult who is in depression, or who is not able to do anything, who is addicted to drugs or something totally dysfunctional. And immediately after COVID, the number grew from 1 in 5 to 1 in 3 families. Now, possibly things become more functional, and it may improve. Why it happens? Because less connections. The family is connected, but in a limited way. I, me, and mine. That's all. And because of that, the depression comes. The person doesn't know there are many more things, many more connections in this life. There is lot is expected from this person. No. And with the mobile phones coming, the only thing where a person is connected is to his or her device, and then a few chat groups, and that's all. So these are the recipes of disaster. They lead to lesser psychological well-being compared to a well-connected person. And the connection is such, like how you connect with a dog in the street. You just give some piece of, in India I'm talking. I don't know what happens in Canada. You don't see dogs on the street, definitely. Here we see dogs and cows all the time right on the streets. And if you keep giving bits of rotis means whatever. Roti means roti only, some eatable. And regularly at one place, you will find groups of dogs will come towards you. Even the cows will understand. When you pass by, they will expect that roti from you. They want to eat from you, your hand. So this is how you get connected. First with the nearby living beings, and then similarly with the unseen, the devas. The devas means the lively laws of this nature, governing this nature, governing this universe. And you give them attention by acknowledging their role, by showing your gratitude, and uh, uh, by being happy towards them, and they in return, they respond and they help you grow. So it's a mutual thing. Similarly, just like when you give attention to a dog, the dog will wag his tail. And even though the dog can eat from somewhere else, but that dog will prefer to eat through your hands and will respond to you whenever you pass by. Similarly with the devas. So that's the life which the Vedas visualize for a human being. Then when we talk of the karma part, so much of karma yoga, this yoga, the jnana yoga, and then one has to do karma and karma without being beneficiary, etc., etc. We assume that we know what is karma. But many a times, few things we might be missing about karma. That's why I chose this mantras, a set of mantras, 4 mantras from the Taittiriya Upanishad. Vedam anuchya acharyo antevasinam anushasti satyam vada dharmam chara swadhyaya anma pramadah Acharyaya priyam dhanam ahritya prajatantum ma vyavachetsi satyanna pramaditavyam dharmanna pramaditavyam kushalanna pramaditavyam bhutyaina pramaditavyam swadhyaya pravachanabhyam na pramaditavyam deva pitrikaryabhyam na pramaditavyam matridevo bhava pitridevo bhava acharya devo bhava atithi devo bhava, etc. So the first two mantras are we will be focusing. This portion is what we call the ancient recorded convocation address. It is called that Snataka ceremony. Snataka is a Hindi word for graduates, okay, but it's a Sanskrit word, and there is a historical background behind it. Why the word Snataka came? Snanam means taking a bath, bathing, okay. Now, there is something called Avabhrita Snanam. Avabhrita Snanam is the last ritualistic bathing a student does before leaving the Gurukulam. When the studies are complete, the Guru declares that your course is over. Now you are ready to go. Then there is a ritualistic bathing. Okay, the student bathes and the teacher gives new clothes, and then there is an address by the teacher, the parting address, okay, before they depart. So Snataka means one who has bathed, having taken the bath. Which bath? That ritualistic bath, that Avabhrita Snanam. Okay, means that is the last parting bath the student takes, which is done ritualistically, formally, and then departs from the Gurukula after having stayed for 8 years, 12 years, whatever number of years. Okay, but substantial number of years. So that convocation address is being given here in the Taitiriya Upanishad. Vedam anuchya acharya ante vasinam anusasti. Having taught the Vedas, the acharya means the teacher. Ante vasinam means the inmates of that Gurukulam. Anusasti gives these instructions. What does he say? He must have been giving these instructions many a times, but this is the parting one. There is always a parting address by the teacher. And even if it is repeated, it touches the heart because that is the last one listens from the mouth of one's teacher. Satyam vada, speak the truth. Dharmam chara, follow dharma. Now you see what is the implication. When dharmam chara is said, follow dharma, satyam vada is included. Speak the truth is included in follow dharma. Okay. Dharma, we will use the word dharma only. It's not religion. It is not any other word. Dharma means dharma. So follow dharma. Following dharma includes speaking truth. But because speaking truth is so important, it is separately said again. So, and starting with Satyam Vada, because this is the most difficult thing to implement, most easy thing to understand, but the most difficult thing to implement in life. That is why it starts with Satyam Vada. Dharmam Chara. Swadhyayan ma pramadaha. Don't be indifferent to self-study. Okay. Then Acharyaya priyam dhanam ahritya prajatantum ma vyavachetsi. Now this is a very tricky thing. What does he say? Acharyaya priyam dhanam ahritya. Having brought the wealth required by the teacher, okay, then you go and marry and don't break the lineage. It says don't break the lineage, means you go and marry and have children. Why this is said? Because remember, there were no college or school fees. So the education was free. The teacher would ask the student to pay for the fee at the end of the studies. Okay, it's not an advance fee, advance payment. And depending on the capability of the student, he will demand that much fee. So he says that you go get the money, and getting the money was also another thing. He would get it as a loan or sometimes as a grant. He would go to the king, the local king. He would give his credentials, explain the things, participate in the Shastrartha, and the king, according to the capability, would donate the gold coins. How many gold coins, whatever, depending on the capability. And that gold coins he would bring to the teacher. So teacher says, first you bring my fee, then you marry. Why? Because once you get married, there will never be enough to pay back my fees. So better you pay the fees first, clear the dues, then go and marry. Okay. Satyanna pramaditavyam. Again, now, don't be indifferent towards Satya. Satya means truth. Dharmanna pramaditavyam. And it's a negative, double negative. Na pramaditavyam. Don't be indifferent towards dharma. Kushalanna pramaditavyam. Kushalanna pramaditavyam means don't be indifferent towards upkeep of yourself, well-being of yourself. Bhutyaina pramaditavyam. Don't be indifferent towards activities which brings a lot of wealth and Aishwarya. Aishwarya means power and wealth. Okay, so follow it. So Vedas never teach, no, don't take this, don't be wealthy, give away your wealth, be like a beggar. No. We all want wealth. Definitely do it. But remember, Satyan na pramaditavyam, dharman na pramaditavyam. Be truthful, follow dharma, then have lot of wealth and lot of power. Shamelessly. There is no shame in this. There is no problem in that. Then swadhyaya pravachanabhyam na pramaditavyam. Don't be indifferent towards learning and teaching. These are all part of karma. Remember, this is very important because normally what happens is in karma, when we say we follow our duties, we tend to forget that we are learners, lifelong learners. And once we stop learning, we age physically as well as mentally. We create our own notions, fixations, and lead our life accordingly, and then keep arguing on that. That is why it is said, keep learning throughout life, not only learning, teaching also. Learning and teaching is a duty of every human being, depending on whatever he or she can learn and teach, of course. Then comes Deva Pitrikarya Bhyam na Pramaditavyam. Devakarya. Devakarya means worshipping of the Devas. And I have already discussed what Devas mean. Okay. Just now, before I coming to this, I have already discussed. So Devas doesn't mean only some idols and then you say, what's the point? We are now modern people and we are not worshippers of idols. And so why should we follow Deva worship and all? I only believe in this. What you believe, what you don't believe, that will come to that later. First, you understand what Vedas want to say. So Devakarya. Devakarya is worshipping the devas. Worshipping the devas means, already I have said, showing, acknowledging their function, showing your gratitude, accepting their blessings, and um, telling them, please help me, and keep doing what you have been doing. Then Pitrikaryabhyam. So Shraddha Karma, etc. Remembering your own ancestors, the lineage, that is also important. Okay, that is part of one's duty. Then Matridevo Bhava. May you become one for whom the mother is like Deva. Deva already we have described. Somebody who is respectable. Pitridevo Bhava. May you be somebody for whom father is like a Deva. Similarly, Acharya Devo Bhava. The Guru is like a Deva. Atithi Devo Bhava. The guest is like a Deva. By the way, guest is not the right word. Atithi means whose tithi is not fixed. Guest means we take prior appointment, and in fact, we sometimes cancel it just a few hours before. Oh, you haven't started from home? Please don't start, because for some urgent work, we are moving out. So guest is different. Atithi means suddenly somebody has dropped in, unannounced. Okay, that person becomes Atithi. So that concept doesn't exist in many cultures. It does exist to some extent in India, that unannounced people come in, barge in, and still they are entertained to whatever extent they can be. So Atithi Devo Bhava. Why? Because that time, those were the times when phones and mobile phones and all those things were not available. Even transportation systems were not there. People would walk on foot or by bullock carts and reach to a place, and suddenly some tire puncture, I won't say, bullock cart, some wheel has gone off or the bull has fallen sick. They couldn't reach the destination they expected to. So they have to take shelter somewhere else, and they become Atithi of that place. So uncertainties were there, and therefore uncertain guests were also there, and they are called Atithi. And that Atithi should be treated like Deva. And then it comes Yani Anavadyani Karmani Tani Sevitavyani No Itarani, etc. etc. Then briefly I will tell. Guru himself says, whatever good things you see in us, only copy that, not something which is not good in us. See, such an openness. Because we are in human form, there will always be some defect in every human form. So the defective part in us, don't learn, don't copy. Only the good part in us, that only you copy. This is called openness. They don't claim that we are all perfect and just follow what I do. No. We may have some inherent defects. Don't follow it. Then, not only that, wherever you see um, uh, wise people, then you should offer them asana. Asana means offer them seat and make them relaxed. Then Shraddhaya Deyam, Ashraddhaya Adeyam. You donate with Shraddha. Okay, Shraddha means with lot of faith, with lot of goodwill. Ashraddhaya Adeyam. If you don't have that faith or goodwill, don't give. Shriya Deyam, Kriya Deyam, Dhiya Deyam, Samvida Deyam. These are the attitudes while giving. Give enough. Don't be stingy in giving. Kriya Deyam. Be sensitive. Bhiya Deyam. While giving, be sensitive. Are you giving? Are you making that person feel small? The one who is receiving? No, you shouldn't be doing that. Bhiya Deyam. Have that feeling. Am I giving enough? or isn't that person feeling bad about it or something? So that bhaya inside should be there while giving, not like a bossy person. Okay, I'm giving you. You will also remember who gave you. Then be sensitive while giving, etc. Then further it says, yadi atha yadi te karma vichikitsa va vritta vichikitsa va syat. After departing from here, later on, if ever you have a doubt regarding any action, whether you are doing right or wrong, so there is no mobile phone or WhatsApp that you can ask, oh teacher, I am faced with this situation, what shall I be doing? No. So you find out somebody around who is wise, who is yukta ayuktaha aluksha dharma kama syuh, who follows dharma and who is not engrossed in too many things that may impair his judgment. Okay, and whatever that person does, follow that. So there again, there is an openness. It doesn't say follow only me and my disciples you find, and then you follow only this lineage. Nowhere else you shouldn't be looking left or right or anybody else. No, anybody whom you feel is dispassionate, follows dharma, who is wise, just whatever he or she does in that situation, you do that, etc. It goes on like that. So this is the convocation address, and this is the synopsis of what karma means. Then again, if you dharmam chara, if you see, if you want to know more about dharma, then one has to go into the dharma shastra. Then it becomes like um, this is like a shortened form. Okay, the Bhagavad Gita, when it says about karma, it's like in the preamble. Okay, then we magnify it. What is karma? We find so many concepts in this Taittiriya Upanishad. Other places also, but I chose this one. Then within this, if we want to magnify and find out what dharma means, then we have um, like lots of dharma shastras which talk in detail what is dharma, what should be done, what should not be done, who should be doing what, etc. in a given situation, etc., etc. So this is how the magnifying things are magnified. The more you want to go into detail, it is available. So this is the karma we are talking in the Bhagavad Gita. We should understand. Okay, karma, karma, karma. Otherwise, okay, you are doing karma. You should be doing karma. It should be selfless service, etc., etc. Yes, all those things are fine, but they are incomplete unless we have that entire vision. It is the karma being connected with the entire universe and being uh, a sense of having a sense of gratitude, uh, bowing down towards the the entire universal forces which keeps me alive. With that attitude, with that connectedness, performing the actions has a very different meaning. Even when we are eating food, we say that the Jatharagni means the digestive fire inside. I am offering it, offering this food as the ahuti. Ahuti means just as we mm, uh, mm, give oblations, we offer ghee or some other material in the fire, in the homam, we perform outside. Similarly, one eats the food with that attitude, then that fire digests the food properly. So this is how the karma goes, and this is what deva means and yajna means. Yajna is being connected, offering and sacrifice. Sense of offering, sense of a sacrifice, and a sense of gratitude, being connected with the entire universal forces. That makes a karma yajna. And that is what is going to be said in the Bhagavad Gita in the 3rd chapter. So maybe just quickly we will go through the shlokas. Yajnarthat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanah tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sanga samachara. So people perform actions in the spirit of yajna. Okay, I'm not saying sacrifice. It's not just sacrifice. It is a sacrifice. It is an offering. Because sacrifice can be painful also. So it's not like painful. It's an offering. There is a sense of offering. So there is a willingness. And there is a connected feeling of being connected. Saha yajna praja srishtva puro vacha prajapati anena prasavishwadhvam wo asti wo stvishta kamaduk. Then devan bhavayatanena te deva bhavayantu vaha parasparam bhavayantaha shreya paramavapsyatha. You nurture the devas through your offerings, through your gratitude. They nurture you back. This way, you nurture, both of you nurture each other and attain the highest good. So this is the spirit with which Bhagavan is explaining in the 3rd chapter how karmas should be performed. Karma with the yajna flavor, yajna attitude, which we'll see in detail maybe next time. Today we stop here and open it for question and answers. Any questions, anything which I didn't clarify properly, any shortcoming, or any other topic, if no other question is there.
Thank you, Acharya ji. It was really wonderful. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
Just like the meaning of
Namaskar.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can get it.
Yeah, like meaning of Atithi for the first time, and I personally experienced so many times in India, right?
Yeah.
And especially before the internet and phone time. Just
Yeah.
land, go
You
anywhere.
land and they will say, don't worry, food is,
Yeah.
it will take 5 minutes, even though the lady knows it will take half an hour. But she will make you feel that it was 5 minutes. And by the way, the gas stove came only 30-40 years back in India.
That's right.
Prior to that, it used to be machis jalao, means you matchstick, and wood or coal. At some places there would be coal fire. So they will keep some coal ready always. And it may take little more time. So sometimes it may take 45 minutes for the first chapati to come out. But the lady will say 5 minutes.
Yeah, but I personally experience everywhere, and that is the way to live, right? Even I went to the China trip. The lady cooked, a very poor lady cooked
Correct.
for me.
Correct.
In half an hour, whatever. I saw the entire process. No? She took it from different places and she cooked. And that is what the best meal I ever had there. Right? Not in the restaurant. I will never forget that experience.
And
giving the love.
Correct. They will borrow from neighbors. And what they will say, some guest has come, please, 1 cup of sugar and then 1 cup of maida, 1 cup of besan. Whatever is not available at home, they will bring. And get it and make the person feel satisfied. So that is the spirit of Atithi Devo Bhava. Any other question?
Yeah. Namaskar, Acharya ji. This is Neeraj. Thank you for the very enlightening talk. My question is, the things which you have said make so logical and make so sensible. But in the current environment of education, whether that is India or whether it is anywhere else, these things are completely lacking. There is no mention of these attributes. And why I am asking is, I am asking because I grew up India. I had education in India.
Right.
Whatever we got it from our parents when they grew up. But from the education system point of view, we did not. So now I have kids. So I always wonder, how can we impart all these to them when the environment outside is not at all talking about these things?
Yeah, in fact, not only not talking, they ridicule it.
Yes,
Okay,
they ridicule it, and
devas
actually,
means something to be ridiculed, but when somebody understands the depth behind it, it can't be ridiculed. And the only way is one has to expose, one has to first learn. Remember, the duty is learning and teaching. Remember, it's part of karma. So one has to add to one's schedule of learning and teaching. And whom to teach? If nobody else, at least you teach your own family members. That is the first thing you can do. And when you are teaching, I tell you, you even have to behave that way, because you can't be, you can't walk differently and talk differently. You have to walk the talk. So that way, your own personality gets changed. And seeing that, the children also learn. So, of course, it is a sacrifice, because learning, teaching requires a frame of mind. It's not like watching a movie together, family. See how we have made things loose. What we say, a family which dines together, eats together, lives together, something, or prays together. Some slogans we have made, because those are easy things to do. Eating, easiest things. Watching a movie, it's easy. Praying little bit, easy. But discussing together on finer points of dharma, it breaks the head. So we don't bring in such slogans. That is the tapas of a householder. Householder, otherwise what we have made the concept is the life of bhoga. The more you enjoy, able to enjoy, the better householder you are. Whereas
absolutely,
householder's life is the biggest tapas life. Highest, because that person has to look after so many things, including keeping a time slot where he has to keep a frame of mind where he can learn things and then teach things. Not an easy thing. And if one becomes a householder like that, one is bigger than a sannyasi. But then this slogan they will say, the Shastras say, householder is bigger than even a sannyasi. How? Without performing all these things, what is involved? The slogan part, or that particular shloka they will pick up, and then they will promote bhoga as a householder. Householder becomes, the person becomes more than a sannyasi only when the person lives as prescribed, not as one thinks. So one tries to do whatever one can. As much as we learn, that much we try to imbibe, and we follow, and then we pass it on.
I think the kids learn from the surroundings and the families and everywhere, not through the formal education, right? Like
True, true.
everything you cannot get it from there.
No,
So
everything you cannot get.
these kind of attribute will come from families and surroundings.
Correct, correct.
I mean, I'll
And
just tell you one small example. Like when
right,
I was in Delhi, right?
right,
We went to see somebody at the platform, right? Like when the train stopped.
right,
When the train left, my younger daughter, like she was 8 or 9 years old, she saw somebody was left behind. So one
uh-huh,
lady got down from the train and she was left behind. She
right,
saw it. And we didn't see it. Nobody saw it, right? And she felt, Dad, that she's left behind. So we should go. So we came down, met the lady, and she was going to, I think, Rishikesh for some
right.
yatra. And
Hmm.
she got down for water, and Now what to do? I thought my duty will to put it in the bus and she will go there. She has no idea where to go.
Correct.
There is no phone number. There is nothing. Now I was in the big fix. What to do? So I had to take her to home because there's nothing else I could do it. I have to take it home. Took some care, and there is nothing. Either I have to go personally myself and take to the ashram where she was going. She was such an old person, illiterate from Gujarat, right? No idea where to go. So I took a taxi, sent her with the driver instruction, only drop her to this place. And if there is nobody there, bring it back. Because but this has happened because of my daughter, right? And she's watching all these things, what we did, and that is how they learn actually.
Actions speak more than lectures.
Yeah.
That is
and
true.
I'm grateful she saw that, so we could do this, right? Like it became my duty all of a sudden.
True. Okay, so shall we start here for today?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you.